So now let's go through our CSS, since it's short at this point, and see if there's anything else that we can standardize into a variable. So here at the very top, under body, we have font weight 100. And then under our headings here, we also have font weight 100. Now again, we have to figure out if these two values are actually connected. If one changes, should the other one change? In this case, it feels like the connection is solid. The only reason we're adding this font weight 100 here is because the browser's default CSS is overriding our body font weight here. So let's create a variable for this. Now what should we call it? Well, at this point, it seems like the best description is default font weight, so let's use that. And we'll give it a value of 100. And now we'll copy this variable, and we'll paste it here and here. And let's do a quick search to see if it's being used anywhere else. Doesn't look like it, so we'll save this. Our command line tool will automatically convert it back to CSS, and we can go in the browser to take a look and verify that the font weight looks good. All right, back to the editor. So at this point, I think it makes sense to start adding some comments. If we add comments to our CSS, it will make separate sections of our CSS a little bit more clear. And now that we're using more than just selectors, but we're using variables as well, it might make it easier to read if we had something like headers for the different sections. Now the way comments work in CSS, and I'm going to add one to the top of the page here, is you would use a slash and then an asterisk, and then you would put your comments here. To end the comment, you would do an asterisk and then a / again. Now if we save this and we looked at our CSS, the comments would be stripped out, which is kind of nice because as we get into talking about performance, one of the ways that we can increase the speed of our site is by reducing file size, and comments still have to get downloaded when they're inside of a CSS file. So SASS allows us to strip out those comments before it's rendered into a CSS file. And there's other things we can do as well to further compress this. Now we could do multiple lines here. If we just hit enter, we can put additional details here. So with SASS, we get an alternative way that we can add comments, which is a single line comment without any ending characters. So if we remove this here, we can just use the double / in order to indicate that we want a single line comment. That's a little easier to read and to write. And let's add a heading here. We'll call it typography. Let's add another heading right here, and we'll call it default HTML elements. And then let's add a final one down here called components. Now it still looks a little bit dense, so why don't we add some extra lines here in between the different headings to make it easier to read. And let's save it.